Hello everybody and welcome to the Great Guild Wars 2 Countdown. For today there are only 5 or 2 days remaining until the launch of Guild Wars 2. 2 days till Guild Wars 2. What can I say really? It's just very, very close, isn't it? The footage in the background is from the Diablo X. You can find a link to his channel in the description down below. News, I've really got 3 different things really for you. First of all, last night, so I'm laying there in bed and I can't sleep. I don't know why. I've been laying there from about 2 AM till about 4 and I've been completely restless the entire time. In the end I give up and I'm like, right, I'll just go back on the computer, I'll watch something and then go back to bed. I log on and just in time for ArenaNet really to announce 10 minutes in advance that another stress test was coming out. They keep proving me wrong. I keep saying there's not going to be many more stress tests and then they pull that out of the bag. There was another stress test, can you believe it? Last night it only lasted for 1 hour, so if you missed it don't feel too bad. They only announced it 10 minutes before it was happening. It seemed like a very last minute, oh god, this is an emergency, we want to do this thing, because they'd actually already wiped our character from previous stress tests, so I don't think it was originally on the agenda. If you did play on this stress test, you were back down to level 1, you had no characters. The only thing that was saved were people that were on your contact lists. Everything else was removed, and I believe this is also the same situation that will be happening at launch. So anyone that created a character in that stress test, once again, it will be wiped. The only thing you'll find that's left over from stress tests is the fact that your contact lists are very much the same as they were before the game launched. So that's quite cool. Everything else, though, was reset. But interestingly, there were some differences. Actually, someone messaged me, and I'm hesitant to believe this, but apparently Ebenhawk was actually available in the stress test. That portal that took you there was available, and someone got a load of screenshots. Now, I do know that the press had access to Ebenhawk, so these screenshots could have come from there. But so I hear it was available there in this stress test. You couldn't really do much outside of Ebenhawk, obviously, in the explorable area, because everyone was like level 1 or as fast as you could possibly get to in that 1 hour. But yeah, quite cool, apparently. You could go over there to Ebenhawk. Also, as another bit of news that relates to the stress test as well in a similar way to this Ebenhawk thing, ArenaNet announced on their official website how we were going to be getting our Hall of Monuments rewards at last. We'd had little interviews and stuff that talked about their plans, and you know, it was all kind of tentative stuff, but they have 100% announced how it will be working. Basically, what will happen is when you get in game, if you are linked to a Guild Wars 1 account, you will have an item in your inventory, which is a portal item that you can double click, and it will actually teleport you to the Eye of the North out there in the world. It's quite cool. It will take you really, really far off to the north to the Hall of Monuments, which is awesome. It's there. It's built in Guild Wars 2. There you can find a character, Kim's the historian, who was there in Guild Wars 1, but he's now a ghost, which is very cool. Or Kimmy's, I don't know exactly how you're supposed to pronounce it, but he's there, and from him you can get any of the items you are entitled to. You can get these more than once, and you can get them as many times as you possibly want on any of your characters, so you don't have to worry about these being a one-time only thing. As for the levels and stuff that they come at, I'm assuming they are just have like a base level that you'll get them at, and either that will scale as your character that's collecting the reward levels up, or we will have to rely on transmutation to change the looks of these things. So that's kind of how it's working. I think it's quite cool. I'm shocked that they built the Eye of the North and the Hall of Monuments actually in Guild Wars 2 being so far to the north. I really am. It's quite cool that we do actually get to go there. Once you're done and you've collected your rewards, you can once again double click the portal item and return to where you originally came from. Bish bash bosh, sort it out. So that's quite cool. And going back to the stress test, someone actually in the stress test, I don't know how widespread this was, but someone messaged me, they actually had this portal item in their inventory during the stress test, and they double clicked it and it took them to the Hall of Monuments. It's actually unfinished though in the stress test, so they went there, they even did a video of it, where you can like see what it kind of looked like in there. It was a bit buggy and a bit weird and it wasn't fully finished, but yeah, really interesting actually. Very, very cool. So that was going on. As I say, don't feel too bad if you missed out on the stress test. Really, it was only an hour long. Didn't get a chance to do much. I did, however, get a chance to film the update to the Troll's End puzzle with Magical Mike, so we can put that out. I just need to do commentary with him for it, and he's asleep right now, so I don't know when that will be coming, but I will rush that out before pre-purchase, I'm sure. Anyway, another little bit of older news that I haven't mentioned yet, actually. PC Gamer, for this week leading up to the launch, are doing kind of a Guild Wars 2 week where they look at a lot of different stuff and have a lot of different interviews and things, and exclusive content too. They've got the scoop on one of the dungeons of the game, level 40 dungeon, Twilight Arbor. So if you want to check that out, they've got that going on and up there, which is quite cool. So you do get to see that dungeon. If you don't want to spoil it for yourself, though, it's 2 days, guys. You don't have to wait too long, but that is going on there. I personally haven't watched it. I don't want to spoil it for myself, so there's that. Also, lastly, to correct myself from yesterday, why do I have to correct myself on this? How depressing is this? It's not 10 different dances, it's 5 dances. It's not every race has got a dance and then that changes from sex. It's just 5 dances. There aren't 10. In Guild Wars 1, I just expected that that's the way it was, to tell you the truth, because in Guild Wars 1, we started off with 6 professions, right? We had 6 professions, and each of those had different male and female dances. That means at the launch of Guild Wars Prophecies, ArenaNet had more dances in than they were prepared to put in for the launch of Guild Wars 2. A bit of a shame, but hey, let's not complain about everything. The dances are pretty awesome. So yeah, there's that. I should probably correct myself. Moving on to the questions. The first one's from Radio Video 441, who says, now that ArenaNet has posted an article about the Hall of Monuments, I want to hear your opinion about Kim's the Historian's ghost. Why is he a ghost? We knew about the ghosts in Ascalon, Underworld, Desolation, Crystal Desert, and the reason they are as they are, but why Kim's or Kimmy's? Why was he cursed or something? But I highly doubt it. Are there any ghosts I've missed? What's the reason some people become ghosts and still walk interior? This is a question that's come up quite a bit recently in the wake of the lore video we did as well before. There's not actually always an external reason why somebody has become a spirit when they've died. Someone else was asking how necromancers fit into the equation. It's not because someone's manipulated them necessarily all the time and toyed with them. There is lore established in Guild Wars that kind of just explains why people can become undead for no real reason. And in fact, if you look at Guild Wars 1, there are a lot of situations where there are undead around, but no real reason for them to be there. There was no faux fire and none of this extra stuff going on. They were just kind of there. You look at the Shiver Peaks, particularly the southern Shiver Peaks, they had loads of undead all around. Now, I suppose you can speculate and say, oh, this is because the Vizier was still kind of pulling the strings and spawning these things for whatever reason against the Stone Summit or whatever. But really, there's no real lore to explain why these ghosts are there, and they are all over the world, really. There are just shadows and spirits and things that exist. If you look in the Guild Wars manuscripts, the Guild Wars Prophecies manuscripts, right,